that was pure domination by the Green Bay Packers, and I do not think that the final score does it justice. Packers winning 27-18. The Commanders only had 3 points until the final quarter, the fourth quarter, where they put up 15 points. Some of that was garbage time. But for the second straight week, we witnessed a Packers defense play top-tier football, shut Jaden Daniels down a majority of the day, and now we've seen the Packers face two of the best offenses in the NFL from last season, the Detroit Lions week 1, and now the Washington Commanders. And in both games, the Packers just look defensively head and shoulders better than the offense. The main reason is the defensive line, the pass rush, consistently getting pressure. And no doubt, Micah Parsons helps a ton. He wins all the time, and because of that, it frees other guys up as well, just like it did last week. But even when Micah Parsons is not on the field, Rashawn Gary is dominating. Lucas Van Ness is dominating. Devontae Wyatt. There are so many players on this Packers offensive line that all look like they're playing their best football right now. The Packers had a total of 4 sacks in this game. But all day long, you could just see that because the pass rush was getting there so quickly, Jaden Daniels had no time to sit back there and really allow his receivers to get deep down the field. Tons of short passes, a ton of times where he had to get the ball out quickly because the pressure was coming in so fast. And I think that's something we're going to continue to see for the rest of the season for the Green Bay Packers. And it's so interesting that what was a weakness last year when it came to the consistency of the pass rush is now the Packers' strength. And because of this pass rush, it allows the secondary to, it just puts them in a much better position because the quarterback, Jaden Daniels, in this game was having to get the ball out so quick. And so the corners, the safeties, they don't have to, be in coverage quite as long because the pass rush is doing their job. And one guy I want to talk about and focus on in this video is Keisean Nixon, because he played an incredible game. There were multiple times where Jaden Daniels targeted the guy that Keisean Nixon was covering, and he was just totally locking these guys down, multiple pass breakups. That was probably one of the better games I've seen from Keisean Nixon during his time with the Green Bay Packers. Carrington Valentine also had a good day. The Packers secondary had a very good day overall. And if we look at Jaden Daniels and his final stat line, it was helped a little bit near the end there in garbage time. But he goes 24-42, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And then the Packers, once again, dominated when it came to their run defense. Washington had a total of 19 carries for 51 yards and only 2.7 yards per rush. And so, once again, the Packers defense dominated in pretty much every aspect of the game, and that's without forcing any type of turnover. So, it's very promising, and honestly, looking at how the Packers have played these first 2 weeks, part of me is feeling that my 13-4 prediction for this team is too conservative. I did think to myself, they could win every single game. Now, I'm not going to, claim that's going to be the case because you come and you have some bad games here or there. But this team can beat the best of the best in the league, and I think now that is going to be expected every single game because, this Washington Commanders team was in the NFC Championship last year, and they made the offense look like a bottom 10 unit in the NFL, which I know is not the case. Jaden Daniels is a very, very good quarterback. So I'm very excited about this Packers defense once again. And now offensively, the Packers offense played really good football. And that was without 2 of their best offensive linemen, with Aaron Banks out with an injury and with Zach Tom out with an injury. And early on in the game, you could see the impact of those injuries. Jordan Love was having to bounce around in the pocket. The Commanders were getting pressure on Jordan Love. And so that's not a surprise considering when you lose 2 of your highest paid, best offensive linemen, you're going to see those effects. Now, it is a good thing that Jordan Love is very good at evading pressure. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to evading pressure. And so he was able to move around a lot of times. He was sacked a total of 2 times. But Love had a very good day. 19 of 31, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 113.9 passer rating. And if Jordan Love would have hit on two different balls to Matthew Golden, he could have thrown for nearly 400 yards and 4 touchdowns because there were two different balls to Golden. One, I think, I'm pretty sure it was first quarter. Golden is open, he underthrows him. And then later in the game, Golden beats his guys deep. It would have been a touchdown if Love had just put the ball slightly shorter. He slightly overthrew him. Golden couldn't find it, couldn't catch the ball. And so even with those two misses, Jordan Love had a very, very good day. And one thing I loved about this game is just seeing how much the Packers were attacking deep down the field. Because I think that, yes, this Packers team, they can run the ball effectively when they need to. I mean, they did pretty good overall today, 4.5 yards a carry. Josh Jacobs had 84 yards at 3.7 yards a carry on 23 total carries. But I think the way that this Packers team is going to dominate this season and how they're going to continue to, like, when they're up in these games by 7, you want to continue to keep your foot on the gas pedal. And I think that the Packers need to consistently keep taking shots down the field late in the game. It feels like to me in years past there have been moments where the Packers just got too conservative offensively. It almost felt more like Matt LaFleur was trying to, in years past at times, hold on to the lead as opposed to sort of going for it. And it felt like to me in this game, even when the Packers were up, they were still taking shots down the field and it kept working. So I love to see that aggressiveness even later on in the game. And we have to talk about Tucker Kraft because he had an incredible day. 6 receptions for 124 yards and 1 touchdown, was targeted team high 7 different times. And we've really seen Tucker Kraft start to really take his game to a whole nother level. And he was already a very good tight end last year, but I think now we're seeing him starting to get even better than he was last season, which is saying something. And so it's really good to see someone like him playing at this top tier level and just his ability to break away. He's one of the best yards after catch tight ends in the NFL. And when we look at the rest of the Packers receiving core, this is a group that is very deep. And in years past, and even in the offseason, I know some people like to hate on this Packers receiver core. And I think many thought that before Matthew Golden came in that the Packers didn't have any, guys who could have been number ones and have that type of talent. I don't think that's the case. I think Romeo Doubs is one of the better receivers in the NFL. He had a nice touchdown catch there. Only 3 receptions for 28 yards. But the reason that some of these guys, their stats aren't incredible is because the Packers have so many talented wide receivers. They have so many guys who are able to get open. And today, Dontavian Wicks was the leading wide receiver, 4 receptions for 44 yards. A lot of those came on the first couple series. And so when you have so many guys who can win on their routes and you have so many guys who can get open consistently, it makes it so much harder for opposing defenses to shut you down. And where some teams may have one guy that you need to focus on and the teams can try to take that one guy away. With this Packers offense, take one guy away, someone else is going to have a good day. So once again, that seemed to happen here. Kraft did have the biggest day out of all of them, with a 57-yarder being his long. I think it was the Packers' longest play of the day, I'm pretty sure, at least when it came to receiving. And then Matthew Golden, 0 receptions, 0 yards. And so to see the Packers do this without Matthew Golden even having a massive impact statistically is a good sign. As I said, there were 2 plays where if Love connected on those balls, Golden could have had, 80 to 90-ish yards, 2 touchdowns potentially, if Love connects with him. So it's not to say that Golden isn't playing well. I think he is. Love just missed on those 2 balls, and the Packers have been spreading the ball out consistently. And one other thing, I was honestly surprised late in the game that it was a 1-possession game. I think there was around 12 or so minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Commanders score a touchdown, makes it 17-10. And I'm sitting there watching, thinking to myself, how is this only a 1-score game? If the Packers in that drive didn't come in and kick a field goal, get a touchdown, the Commanders will get the ball back with the opportunity to tie the game with a touchdown, which, based on how the game had gone so far, just didn't feel right, honestly. And so to see the Packers then come in that drive, I think it was like a 9-play, 65-yard touchdown drive, puts them up an extra touchdown. The Packers are going to need to have moments like that in games where the offense sort of finishes it, because I think at that point, when the Packers score that touchdown, there's maybe 7 to 8 minutes left. It would take a lot for the Commanders to come back and actually win that game. And I think just looking at how good this defense has played, there are going to be many games like this where the defense plays really, really great, the offense plays really well, and then there's going to be, you're up 7, you're up whatever else it may be, and you're going to need your offense to come in and be aggressive, put up some more points to sort of solidify the finish. And I like to see the Packers come in and do what they did on that drive. It gave me lots of hope for the rest of the season. So to see the Packers do this without 2 of their best offensive linemen just gives you a lot of reason for optimism, because once these linemen are back, the Packers line is even better. This is going to be an even prettier looking offense, and I think we already saw just how dominant they were today. And so to start off 2-0, that is a great sign for this Packers team, that now comparing it to last year, where this team was having trouble against some of the best teams in the NFL, the Packers just beat 2 of the better teams in the NFL from last season. And so it seems to be that issue that they had last year has been solved. I think a lot of that does have to do with Micah Parsons. But even if Micah Parsons hadn't been traded to Green Bay, I think this defense is still playing at a whole nother level, and I think they still would have been playing some really good football. Not as good as with Micah Parsons, no doubt, but this whole offense, Edgerrin Cooper playing incredible football once again. I mean, there's just so many guys to talk about here. Edgerrin Cooper played great. Quay Walker. This whole team has been playing very, very good football. So it's a very good sight to see as a Packers fan. But if you like more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below. You can also follow me on Twitter for more Packers content at LukeBeller3. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.